The Rock was amazing, as usual. Wax lyrical on him from the Instagram through to him laying out the stakes yet again. But I want to talk about Seth Rollins, first of all. This was the night Seth Rollins needed.
Yes.
This was the night I kind of think he deserved, because he has been put into this situation like on merit, but he's also been put in it out of necessity because he's the world champion and the Punk match was taken off the table after the Royal Rumble. So they've obviously, they were always going to have to pivot with Seth regardless of what went on with The Rock and Cody. But he was the guy when you had that difficult 7 days of nobody was really considering him. It was very much, you'll fit where you're told. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out Cody. We need to figure out The Rock. We need to figure out Roman. You'll be here as well.
Yes.
And he did that, and he performed that role gamely, but with the accusations, understandably, that what the frig's that guy doing here?
Yeah.
Clown emoji was cutting a bit too deep. Mm-hmm. Look at him. I like this Seth Rollins character. It's the one for me that has finally gotten him over properly rather than him just telling you that he's the top guy. I actually buy it when he performs this role. This was the night I bought him performing this role amongst the 3 biggest stars in the company. And it's 3 big stars, big gap, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Toy belt that he's trying his hardest to establish nonetheless.
Diarrhea Dwayne,
losing the Punk match. When Punk was in there with him, you were like, there's Seth Rollins just lifted right up to this is what we were at, wasn't it? Night one is going to be Punk and Seth. They're going to get their main event at the same time. That's neat and tidy. And then on we go to Cody and Roman, and that's the real big one. So Seth was still in that kind of B-plus player territory, and he promoted himself to A-star here. He didn't just take the material in which he was given the opportunity to put The Rock in his place. He took that incredibly high-pressure role, and he turned it up. He didn't just play Seth Rollins, the cackling arsehole in the funny clothes, delivering Diarrhea Dwayne adjacent lines to The Rock. He got right in The Rock's face.
Yes.
And he kind of exposed what a liar this Rock character is. The Rock can do the big talking, can do the manner, can do the swearing on Instagram, then look like the biggest star in the world on television. But he is no different in Seth's eyes than when Bradshaw appears at a Raw special, than when DX and the NWO come out. And how are they booked now in this era? They're scared of Imperium, The Undertaker was there to do what? To try and put over Bray Wyatt. These stars, finally at long last, we are moving away, shout out Dolph Ziggler from the Gratitude era. And Seth Rollins just looks at The Rock and feels that. Cody Rhodes felt that when he was Stardust. We talked about this. That's why he had to beat up his own brother at Double or Nothing. This for him is, there's 2 stories that he's got to finish right here. So Seth Rollins getting to play that role as somebody that for years and years and years has been told, well, not only are you not good enough to even be Roman Reigns, you mate from the Shield, you're not even really good enough to compete with the guys from the 90s. And finally having this moment to just let it all out was such a great, it was opportunistic from the creative team to give him that moment, but it just put him back in the conversation as being deserving of this place.
He didn't look like a competition winner anymore.
Not at all. I didn't think it was his night. And the thing is, this is going to change every week. It feels like what we're getting, and this is going to move on to, somebody gets to be top, somebody gets to be bottom. There's 4 of them, and every week that seems to change. And we're going to get on to who surprisingly fell at that bottom slot this week in a minute. But Seth Rollins getting to be the top was just something I never saw coming, especially after Raw, especially after Diarrhea Dwayne and Cody and Seth being the Raw are kind of the jokers because on Fridays we've got the Killers in the Jungle.
Yeah.
When you put them all together, no, this was 4 main eventers jockeying for position a bit. There was an element of real life. Jim Ross used to call it the Shark Tank. You could feel it a bit out there. It was they all want to win this. And that brings me, shockingly, to Roman Reigns, right?
The crossdresser comment was out.
Not on.
No.
I don't know where Roman plucked that from. It was crap patter anyway.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, the walking clown emoji, works because Rock can call him that, and Seth can be like, I am, and I'm the walking clown emoji that's going to kick your ass. I look awesome looking like this. I'm the visionary. I see myself as looking better than all of you. This is you, Rock, when you were in your, I was going to say when you were in your Versace shirt, you're back in them. But you looked like a clown then too, but you were so goddamn cool you pulled it off. I'm that now. So for Roman to target his attire was dumb anyway, but to go down the route of a slur, go down the route of dated homophobic language, I just found it weird, or queerphobic, I guess. You kind of you're covering a lot of areas here in a remark that needs to die RIP with the past, with the Attitude Era that we all need to move on from. So that was a real weird misfire from Roman. And I think it's important to isolate that as just a stupid thing to say, because let's instead isolate something that was a very dumb character moment. Myself and Adam Nicholas were DMing over the weekend about this because I was dying to DM you, but I knew you hadn't watched it and I didn't want to spoil it. But talking about how, like, Nicholas is all about just how great The Rock is. I'm like, can we talk about some of the other guys in the segment as well? But we both, like, saw it, and it stuck. I was like, what the frig was that? Right? I love when Roman Reigns laughs to break the tension that he's created. Right? He sets everybody up to feel really nervous. Jimmy and Jay back in the old days, and now Solo, even Paul Heyman does it. Is everything all right? Like, it's like, oh, that's even worse. I'm more tense than I was before now. You've laughed. This was like a shoot laugh. It was like popping at Uncle Dwayne's big jokes, right? And then when like Rome's like Rock's explaining, here's why I acknowledged him. Don't you for a second think that I'm lowering myself, which in itself is like good intra-bloodline tension, right? Like he calls himself like, yeah, I acknowledge Tribal Chief. I was like, yeah, that's me. He's talking about me. Rock said my name. It's like, you want to talk about a competition winner in this segment? It was Roman Reigns. I never saw this coming, and I feel like it was like a moment of madness from the character. Not to. This is a man, right, that like does this in order to take the microphone. He doesn't even move from his elbow to his shoulder to get a microphone. And the second The Rock is putting him over, he does that. Now I think I know what you're going to say.
Yep.
Right? Is this Roman kind of suddenly now drunk with power more than ever that he's taken his eye off the ball? All the more reason why he's going to lose the title to Cody Rhodes. Maybe. But I just thought, again, in these, all four of them in the ring, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it.
It was Seth's big W and it was Roman's big L.
Yeah. But obviously, I think far more than Seth, Roman can take it, first of all. Obviously,
yes.
Seth needs to be this guy. More often than not, arguably. The Rock's The Rock. Cody's Cody.
Yeah.
And Roman, I mean, speaks for himself. The record of the Tribal Chief, etc. So Seth arguably needs to be seen as like, hey, guys, let's not overlook Seth in all this. They're
doing what Rock and Cena didn't do for The Miz.
Yes.
But yeah.
The cross-dresser comment aside, because I agree that shouldn't have been there. I really like this performance from Roman Reigns because we're getting back to what we saw in the build to 39, where quite rightly Roman retained, obviously, to lead to this. Because let's not forget, if he dropped the title, we wouldn't be getting this. So you're welcome. But that's the Rock song as well from Moana. So.
Of course it is. There's a LTST.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, no. The spiraling from Roman was one of my favourite things of the build to last year. The acknowledge me.
Yeah.
It's not acknowledge me. I'm pretty big deal. It was like, no, I can feel my grip on everything loosening here. I know I'm really under threat. Acknowledge me. I need this. This is what I've built. Every single one of my matches I have to cheat to win. So, yeah.
I need this. He does.
He's hungry.
He does need
guy.
it. He needs it. When
he's starving.
I need this.
But it's been there from the beginning. In reality, arguably a little bit, but also in kayfabe of, can't help but feel like I'm the kind of the guy behind The Rock now, not the world champion record breaking.
But he said it last week, so it's definitely true, guys.
Exactly.
I've got the video from last week actually. So
he said he acknowledged me. He said he needed that from him, and it's just another step in. Like the laugh happened here when he said they accept, and in Roman's brain he's like, right, so that's it now. That's official. If we lose, if I cause our team to lose, if Rock loses, old guy loses, I have to fight Cody one-on-one, and I know in my heart of hearts, one-on-one Cody beats me. I have to have these obstacles for him to get past. And he did that way. He's like, ha, 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 ha. You can let him answer for you? Like, that would have been just fine to keep it like that. I adore this Roman Reigns character. You know this. I adore the whole Bloodline story. And I think there was elements, you're right, of reality of him being the worst part of this segment. But I think also in his defense, and maybe that's, reaching bro or whatever, I think he also factors that into his performance because he's Roman Reigns. He doesn't need to win every single week. Yeah, no, I do get that. And I think the benefit of the Roman character at this point is that even if he has quote unquote a bad week, and again, all this is subjective ultimately, we're sort of sharing our opinions here.
next week and the week after and the week after, he's still like the tribal chief is embedded at this point. This character has this like air of authority. It's almost weird having him back. It's as weird to have Roman back as a weekly regular as it is The Rock.
Yes.
So like sort of in a sideways way, you're kind of putting them on the same level in that regard. We're somehow through the looking glass of Roman Reigns returns as a graphic. He's just there all the time, like The Rock is. So this is like strange days that we're living in between now and WrestleMania. There's 2 more points, one positive, one negative I wanted to take coming off the back of this as well. A positive, I think, is that Seth Roman's language, they're going to have to figure a way to clip around that. But Seth taking the match on Cody's behalf, Cody wasn't best pleased about that. It wasn't like that WWE sledgehammer to the face subtlety where they just leave the camera on him for 6 seconds too long. It was almost like he kind of like looked a bit shocked. Are we doing this now, are we? Maybe as if they'd arranged something and it didn't go the way he planned or something, because ultimately this is still his thing. It's not like all of this. And Seth's obviously really in his feelings about all of this, but this is still about Cody's match. And it's like, I said this on the Raw preview. I think this is the best match to build a match booking in wrestling history, because you were dealing with the 2 main events of WrestleMania and a stipulation that realistically has 0 bearing, because you either get a bells and whistles bloodline match or you get the final mano-a-mano 1 versus 1, Cody wins the belt. So the stipulation doesn't matter, and yet white hot main event night 1, white hot main event night 2. It's a stupid trope that wrestling has just accepted, and yet this is the best version of it that there will ever be. Yeah, because it's the main events of the biggest wrestling shows that there is. I just can't see that ever being topped. Right? Wrestle Kingdom did it with you remember the IWGP mini tournament?
Yes.
This is better. So I don't think this will ever be topped. My slight issue with it is if Roman is having that insecurity with The Rock, and Cody's not mega buzzed that Seth just took the match in a moment of hubris, I don't think 2 can they coexist is ideal. So I think Cody should acknowledge it maybe with Seth on Raw, but then they'll be like, look, it's fine. We kind of had a thing we were going to do, but it's fine. Like, the point is, we've got the match, and like I'm sure Seth, you're going to do what's right by me. But then if Seth gets a bit mixed up in the Drew stuff in the road to WrestleMania, does Cody say, I get you, mate, but like you said you were with me, you're my shield. Like, so there is a fun story to tell, but I don't know. I don't do too much of that.